She destroyed my career out of pure jealousy. Now she's dying, and I'm the only one who can save her. But should I? This is the story of Cassandra, a brilliant medical researcher whose own sister sabotaged everything she worked for. And when karma came knocking, it brought the ultimate moral dilemma. What happens when the person who ruined your life suddenly needs you to save theirs? This isn't just another family drama. This is about betrayal, revenge, and a choice that will make you question everything you believe about forgiveness. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and drop a like to help this channel grow and bring you more stories like this one. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for this twist. Cassandra had spent 7 years of her life working toward one goal. 7 years of late nights in the lab, 7 years of sacrificing weekends, relationships, and sleep. She was on the verge of the biggest breakthrough of her career, a groundbreaking research project on genetic markers for autoimmune diseases. This wasn't just some academic paper. This was the kind of work that changes lives, the kind of work that gets you recognition, funding, and respect in the scientific community. She was so close. The data was solid. Her presentation to the medical board was scheduled. Everything was falling into place. And then it all came crashing down. Someone had leaked her research to a competitor. Someone had shared her unpublished findings, her methodology, her years of work. And that competitor published first. In the world of medical research, being second means being nothing. It doesn't matter if you did the work. It doesn't matter if it was yours first. Whoever publishes first gets the credit, the funding, the respect, everything. Cassandra's career didn't just stall, it exploded. The board accused her of sloppy security protocols. Her funding was pulled. Other researchers looked at her differently. Some thought she was careless. Others whispered that maybe she wasn't as brilliant as everyone thought. The professional reputation she'd built over 7 years vanished in a matter of weeks. She fell into a deep depression. Months passed in a blur of rejection letters and closed doors. She couldn't understand how it happened. She'd been so careful. She'd trusted so few people with her work. But someone had betrayed her. Someone close enough to access her research. Someone she never suspected. The truth came out 6 months later, and it came from the most unexpected source. Cassandra was at a medical conference trying to rebuild her network when a colleague pulled her aside. Dr. Martinez had worked with the competitor who'd stolen her research, and he looked uncomfortable, really uncomfortable. "I need to tell you something about your research that got published." Cassandra felt her stomach drop. She wasn't sure she wanted to hear this. "The person who brought us that research," Dr. Martinez continued, "she said she was doing you a favor. She said you were struggling and needed help getting published. She said she was your sister." Amanda. Her own sister, her younger sister who'd always lived in her shadow. Amanda, who'd dropped out of college, who'd bounced from job to job, who'd always seemed just a little too interested in Cassandra's work. Amanda, who'd visited her lab dozens of times, who'd asked to see her research just to understand what you do. Cassandra confronted her that same night. At first, Amanda denied everything. Then she got defensive. And finally, when Cassandra presented the evidence Dr. Martinez had given her, Amanda broke down and admitted it all. "You don't understand what it's like," Amanda said through tears. "You're the smart one, the successful one. Mom and Dad are so proud of you. Everything is always about Cassandra and her amazing career. What about me? I've tried so hard and nothing ever works out. I just wanted something for myself. I thought if I could get credit for something big, something important, maybe they'd finally see me too." Cassandra couldn't believe what she was hearing. "So you destroyed my career because you were jealous?" "I didn't think it would destroy your career," Amanda said weakly. "I thought you'd do more research. You're so smart, I thought you'd bounce back." But Cassandra hadn't bounced back, and Amanda knew it. She'd watched her sister spiral for months and said nothing. She'd come to family dinners and pretended everything was fine, while Cassandra struggled to get out of bed in the morning. The betrayal cut deeper than anything Cassandra had ever experienced. This wasn't just professional sabotage. This was her sister, her blood, the person who was supposed to have her back no matter what. Cassandra cut Amanda out of her life completely.
She told her parents what happened, but they didn't want to believe it at first. When they finally accepted the truth, they were devastated. The family fractured. Holidays became awkward. Phone calls became rare. Amanda tried to apologize multiple times, but Cassandra refused to engage. There was nothing Amanda could say that would undo what she'd done. Slowly, painfully, Cassandra rebuilt her career. She started from scratch with a new research project. It took another 2 years, but eventually she published again. The recognition came back gradually. The respect returned. She wasn't quite where she'd been before, but she was climbing back up. And then, 3 years after the betrayal, Cassandra's mother called with news that changed everything. Amanda had been diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. It was aggressive. The prognosis wasn't good. She needed a bone marrow transplant, and soon. The doctors had tested every family member. Their parents weren't matches, extended family wasn't compatible. But Cassandra was a perfect match. 10 out of 10 markers, the kind of match that's rare even among siblings. Cassandra was the only one who could save her sister's life. Her mother was crying on the phone. "I know what she did to you. I know you're angry, but please, Cassie, she's your sister. She's dying." Cassandra hung up without answering. For days, she couldn't think about anything else. The hospital called, her father called, even Amanda called, her voice weak and desperate. Cassandra didn't answer any of them. She kept thinking about those months after her career imploded, the depression, the rejection, the feeling that everything she'd worked for meant nothing. Amanda had done that to her. Amanda had watched her suffer and said nothing, and now Amanda wanted her help? But this wasn't about a career anymore. This was about a life, a human life, her sister's life, no matter what that sister had done. Cassandra talked to a therapist about it. What you're feeling is completely valid. Anger, resentment, the desire to refuse, all of that makes sense given what she did to you. But you have to ask yourself, can you live with either decision? Can you live with saving her, knowing what she did? Can you live with letting her die? That was the question that haunted Cassandra. What could she live with? She agreed to meet with Amanda at the hospital, just to hear her out, just to see if there was anything Amanda could say that would make a difference.
She spent the next week trying to decide. Every time she thought she'd made up her mind, doubt crept back in. She'd wake up at 3 in the morning thinking about it. She'd be at work and suddenly lose focus, her mind drifting back to that hospital room. Her friends had mixed opinions. Some thought she should help because it's the right thing to do. Others thought Amanda didn't deserve her mercy after what she'd done. One friend said something that stuck with her. "You're not doing this for Amanda. You're doing this for yourself, so you can look in the mirror and know you're better than she is." But was that true? Was this about being the bigger person, or was this about something deeper? Cassandra decided to do some research on bone marrow donation. The procedure itself wasn't that risky, but it wasn't pleasant either. They'd put her under anesthesia and extract marrow from her pelvic bone with needles. She'd be sore for days, maybe weeks. There could be complications, though they were rare. She could handle the physical pain. What she couldn't handle was the emotional weight of the decision. Then something happened that changed everything. Cassandra's father called and asked to meet her for coffee. He looked older than she remembered. The stress of Amanda's illness had aged him. They sat down, and for a long moment, he just stared at his cup. "There's something your mother and I never told you, something we probably should have told you a long time ago." Cassandra felt a chill run down her spine. "What are you talking about?" Her father took a deep breath. "You were adopted." The world seemed to tilt. "What?" "When you were 3 days old," her father continued, "your mother and I couldn't have children. We tried for years. We were devastated. And then we got the call about you, a private adoption. Your birth mother was very young, not ready to be a parent. We brought you home, and we loved you instantly. You were ours. You are ours." Cassandra couldn't speak. Her entire identity was suddenly in question. Everything she thought she knew about herself, about her family, was shifting beneath her feet. "Amanda is our biological daughter," her father said quietly. "She came along 3 years after we adopted you. It was a miracle. We'd given up hope of having biological children, and then there she was. But you were already our daughter. We never treated you differently. We never loved you less. Does Amanda know? Cassandra managed to ask. Her father nodded. She found out when she was 16. She went through our documents looking for her birth certificate and found yours, the adoption papers. She confronted us about it. Suddenly, so many things made sense. Amanda's jealousy, her resentment, the way she'd always seemed to be competing for their parents' attention. She wasn't just the younger sister living in Cassandra's shadow. She was the biological daughter watching her parents praise and support an adopted child. "Why didn't you tell me?" Cassandra asked, anger rising in her voice. "We were going to. We always planned to. But you were so happy, so confident. We didn't want to shake your foundation. And then years passed, and it became harder to find the right time. We thought maybe it didn't matter. You were our daughter regardless of biology." "It matters," Cassandra said coldly. "It matters a lot." "Does it change anything? About the bone marrow?" That was the question, wasn't it? Cassandra wasn't biologically related to Amanda. The bone marrow match was a coincidence, a twist of fate. She didn't owe Amanda anything, not sisterhood, not loyalty, and certainly not her bone marrow. But somehow this revelation made everything more complicated, not less. Cassandra went home and looked at old family photos. There she was as a baby, cradled in her mother's arms. There she was at 5, holding newborn Amanda. There they were growing up together, two sisters who weren't really sisters at all. She thought about all those years Amanda had known the truth while she'd remained in the dark. Had that knowledge poisoned Amanda's heart? Had it fueled the jealousy that eventually led to the sabotage? Now make sure you're subscribed to this channel and drop a comment below telling me what you would do in this situation. Would you donate the bone marrow? Your engagement helps us bring more stories like this. Cassandra decided she needed to talk to Amanda again, but this time she wanted the full truth. She went back to the hospital. Amanda was sleeping when she arrived, looking even more fragile than before. Cassandra sat beside the bed and waited. When Amanda finally opened her eyes, she seemed surprised to see her. "I know about the adoption," Cassandra said without preamble. Amanda's face went pale. "Dad told you. Why didn't you ever say anything?" Amanda looked away. "What was I supposed to say? Hey, Cassie, guess what? You're not really part of this family. You were so perfect, so loved. Mom and Dad adored you, and I knew the truth. I knew they chose you. They wanted you so badly they went through an adoption. But me? I was an accident, a surprise. They'd already given up hope of having biological children, and then there I was." "But they loved you just as much," Cassandra said. "Did they?" Amanda's voice was bitter. "You were the smart one, the successful one, the one they bragged about to their friends, and I was just there, the biological daughter who couldn't measure up to the adopted one. Do you know what that felt like?" Cassandra felt a surge of anger. "So you destroyed my career because you were jealous that I was adopted? Do you hear how insane that sounds?" "I know," Amanda whispered. "I know it's insane. The jealousy aided me for years. Every achievement you had felt like proof that I wasn't good enough, that even being their biological daughter couldn't make me special. And I snapped. I made a terrible decision because I was drowning in resentment and insecurity." "You didn't just make a bad decision. You deliberately sabotaged me. You watched me fall apart and said nothing." "I know," Amanda said again, tears flowing freely now. "And the guilt is worse than the cancer, Cassie. At least the cancer just hurts my body. The guilt is destroying my soul." They sat in silence for a long moment. "If I don't donate the bone marrow," Cassandra finally said, "you'll die." "Yes. And you think you deserve that?" Amanda looked at her directly. "I don't know what I deserve, but I know Mom and Dad don't deserve to bury their daughter, and I know you don't deserve to carry the weight of letting me die, even if I brought it on myself." "Don't tell me what I deserve," Cassandra snapped. "You lost that right when you stole my research." "You're right," Amanda said quietly. "I'm sorry." Cassandra stood to leave, but Amanda called out to her. "Can I ask you something?" Amanda said. "Does it change how you feel, knowing you're adopted, knowing we're not really sisters?" Cassandra paused at the door. That was the question she'd been asking herself since her father's revelation. Did it change anything? "I don't know," she said honestly.
I don't know what we are anymore." She left the hospital more confused than ever. Over the next few days, Cassandra did something she hadn't done in years. She tried to contact her birth mother. Her parents had kept the adoption records, though they were sealed, but with some persistence and the help of a private investigator, she found her. Her birth mother's name was Jennifer. She was 42 now, living in Oregon, working as a teacher. Cassandra sent her a letter explaining who she was and asking if they could talk. Jennifer called her 2 days later, her voice shaking. "I never thought this day would come. I've thought about you every single day since I gave you up. I was 17. I wasn't ready to be a mother, but giving you up was the hardest thing I've ever done." They talked for hours. Jennifer told her about the pregnancy, about the difficult decision to give up her baby for adoption, and about the years of wondering if she'd made the right choice. "I wanted you to have a better life than I could give you. I wanted you to have parents who were ready, who could provide for you, who could give you everything I couldn't. Did you ever regret it?" Cassandra asked. "Every day," Jennifer said honestly, "but not because I thought I made the wrong choice. I regretted that I couldn't be the mother you needed. I regretted that I'd never see you grow up, but I never regretted wanting the best for you." Talking to Jennifer gave Cassandra a new perspective. Her birth mother had made an impossible choice out of love. She'd given up her own child so that child could have a better life. It was a sacrifice born from selflessness, not selfishness. And here was Cassandra facing her own impossible choice. She could sacrifice her comfort, her anger, her desire for justice to give Amanda a chance of life, or she could hold on to her resentment and let her sister die. Were they really so different, these two choices? Cassandra realized something important. This wasn't about whether Amanda deserved her help. This wasn't even about forgiveness. This was about who Cassandra wanted to be. What kind of person did she want to see in the mirror? She'd spent 3 years rebuilding her career, proving to herself and everyone else that she was more than her worst moment, that she could overcome betrayal and come back stronger. But could she overcome her anger? Could she be bigger than her pain? She thought about her adoptive parents, who'd loved her unconditionally, despite not being her biological child. She thought about Jennifer, who'd made an impossible sacrifice out of love. And she thought about the person she wanted to be. And she made her decision. Cassandra called the hospital and scheduled the bone marrow donation procedure. Her mother cried when she heard the news. Her father thanked her repeatedly. Amanda sent her a text message that simply said, "Thank you. I don't deserve this." Cassandra didn't respond to the text. She wasn't doing this for gratitude. She wasn't even doing this for Amanda.
The day of the procedure arrived faster than Cassandra expected. She checked into the hospital early in the morning, her stomach tight with anxiety. Not about the procedure itself, but about what it meant, what she was choosing to do. The nurses were kind and professional. They explained the process again, made sure she understood what would happen. They asked if she had any questions. She didn't. She just wanted it over with. Before they took her to the operating room, her mother came to see her. She hugged Cassandra tightly, holding on longer than usual. "You're the bravest person I know," her mother whispered, "and I'm so proud to be your mother. Even though I'm not really yours." The words came out before Cassandra could stop them. Her mother pulled back, looking hurt. "You've always been mine. From the moment they placed you in my arms, you were mine. Biology doesn't make a family, Cassie. Love does. Choice does. And I chose you. I choose you every single day." Cassandra felt tears sting her eyes. "I know. I'm sorry. I'm just processing everything." "Take all the time you need," her mother said, "but don't ever doubt that you're my daughter. Don't ever doubt that I love you completely." They wheeled Cassandra into the operating room. The anesthesiologist explained what would happen, and then everything went dark. When she woke up, she was in recovery. Her lower back ached. The nurse told her the procedure had gone perfectly. They'd extracted enough bone marrow. It was already being prepared for Amanda's transplant. Cassandra spent the rest of the day drifting in and out of sleep, the pain medication making everything fuzzy. When she was finally lucid enough to think clearly, her first thought was simple. "I did it. It's done." She didn't feel noble, she didn't feel like a hero, she just felt tired and sore and confused about everything. Her father visited that evening. He sat beside her bed, holding her hand. "Amanda's transplant is tomorrow," his father said. "The doctors are optimistic. They say the match is so good that her chances are really strong." Cassandra nodded but didn't say anything. "I know this was hard for you," his father continued, "after everything that happened, after everything we told you, but you did an incredible thing today." "I don't want her gratitude," Cassandra said flatly. "I don't want her thinking this makes us even. It doesn't erase what she did." "I know," his father said, "and she knows that too. But maybe someday, when enough time has passed, you two can find a way forward, not as you were, but as something new." Cassandra wasn't sure she believed that, but she was too tired to argue. The next day, Amanda received the bone marrow transplant. Cassandra was discharged from the hospital that same afternoon. She went home, took her pain medication, and tried not to think about what was happening in Amanda's room. The waiting period after a bone marrow transplant is brutal. It takes weeks to know if the body will accept the new marrow or reject it. Amanda had to stay in isolation to protect her compromised immune system. The doctors monitored her constantly, watching for signs of rejection or infection. Cassandra didn't visit. She stayed home, recovering from her own procedure, trying to process everything that had happened. She talked to Jennifer on the phone a few times. Her birth mother was curious about her life, asking careful questions about her childhood, her career, her interests. "I'm glad you had a good life," Jennifer said during one call. "I'm glad your parents loved you the way I wanted you to be loved." "They did. They do. Even with all the complications, they've always loved me." "That's all I ever wanted for you," Jennifer said softly. 3 weeks after the transplant, Cassandra's mother called with news. Amanda's body was accepting the bone marrow. The doctors were cautiously optimistic. It would still be a long road to recovery, months of careful monitoring and treatment, but the worst seemed to be over. "She wants to see you," her mother said. "She's been asking about you." Cassandra wasn't ready. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But 2 months later, when Amanda was finally discharged from the hospital and beginning outpatient treatment, Cassandra agreed to meet her. Not at the hospital this time, but at a neutral location, a small coffee shop halfway between their homes. Amanda looked better than she had in the hospital, but she was still thin and weak. Her hair was growing back slowly, short and patchy. She smiled nervously when Cassandra walked in. They ordered coffee and sat down across from each other. The silence stretched between them, heavy and awkward. "I don't know how to thank you," Amanda finally said. "I've been trying to find the right words for months, but there aren't any. You saved my life after I tried to destroy yours. I don't understand why you did it." "I didn't do it for you," Cassandra said bluntly. "I did it because I needed to be able to live with myself. I needed to know that I'm better than the worst thing that's ever been done to me." Amanda nodded slowly. "I understand, and I don't expect anything from you. I don't expect forgiveness or reconciliation. I just wanted you to know that I'm getting help, real help, therapy. I'm working on the jealousy and the insecurity that made me hurt you. I'm trying to become someone who would never do what I did." "That's good," Cassandra said. "You should do that, not for me, but for yourself." "I know," Amanda said. "I know I can't undo what I did. I can't give you back those years or that opportunity, but I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to be worthy of the second chance you gave me." Cassandra didn't respond. She sipped her coffee, studying the sister who wasn't really her sister, the biological stranger she'd grown up with, the person who'd betrayed her and then needed her most. "Can I ask you something?" Amanda said hesitantly. "Do you think you'll ever be able to forgive me? Not now, maybe not for years, but someday?" Cassandra thought about that question. Forgiveness. What did that even mean? Did it mean forgetting what happened? Pretending it didn't matter? Letting Amanda back into her life as if nothing had changed? "I don't know," Cassandra said honestly. "Right now, I'm still angry. I'm still hurt. What you did changed my life in ways I'm still discovering. But I also know that holding on to anger forever would poison me the way jealousy poisoned you. So maybe someday, maybe when enough time has passed and you've proven that you're different, maybe then." "That's more than I deserve," Amanda said quietly.
Yes, Cassandra agreed. It is. They finished their coffee mostly in silence. When they stood to leave, Amanda hesitated, then spoke again. "There's something else you should know," she said hesitantly. "When I found out about your adoption, I also found out why Mom and Dad chose you specifically." Cassandra felt her heart rate quicken. "What do you mean?" "The adoption agency gave them several profiles, several babies they could adopt, but they chose you because your birth mother wrote them a letter. Jennifer wrote about how much she loved you, how hard it was to give you up, and how she wanted you to have every opportunity she couldn't provide. Mom said that letter broke her heart and made her fall in love with you before she even met you." Cassandra felt tears building in her eyes. She had never known that. Jennifer had never mentioned it. "Mom kept the letter," Amanda continued. "She's kept it all these years. She told me once that whenever she worried about whether she was being a good mother to you, she'd read that letter and remember the responsibility she'd been given, the trust Jennifer placed in her." "Why are you telling me this?" Cassandra asked. "Because I want you to know that you were wanted by everyone, by Jennifer, who loved you enough to let you go, by Mom and Dad, who chose you out of love, even by me, before the jealousy twisted everything. I looked up to you when we were kids. I wanted to be like you. I'm sorry I let my insecurity turn that admiration into resentment." Cassandra didn't trust herself to speak. She nodded once and walked out of the coffee shop. She drove to her parents' house. Her mother was surprised to see her, but welcomed her immediately. Cassandra asked to see the letter. Her mother's eyes filled with tears, but she went to get it. The letter was old, the paper yellowed with time. Jennifer's handwriting was young and uncertain, but the words were powerful. "To the family who will love my daughter," it began. "I'm 17 years old and I'm not ready to be a mother, but I want you to know that I love this baby more than anything in the world. I'm giving her to you not because I don't want her, but because I want everything for her. I want her to grow up knowing she's loved and valued and capable of amazing things. Please tell her that someday. Please tell her that her birth mother loved her enough to want more for her than I could give. Please give her the life I dream about for her. I'm trusting you with the most precious thing I'll ever have. Take care of my girl." Cassandra read it 3 times, her tears streaming down her face. Her mother sat beside her, holding her hand. "She loved you so much," her mother said softly, "and so did we, so do we. You've always been loved, Cassie, by everyone who's ever been part of your life." Cassandra realized something in that moment. She'd been so focused on the betrayal, on what Amanda had taken from her, that she'd forgotten about everything she'd been given. The love of 2 mothers, the dedication of parents who chose her, the opportunity to rebuild her career, the strength to make an impossible choice. And she'd been given something else too, the chance to be better than her worst moment, the chance to choose mercy over revenge, the chance to save a life even when that life had tried to destroy hers. 6 months later, Amanda was in remission. The cancer was gone. She continued therapy and slowly began rebuilding her own life. She got a job at a non-profit, something meaningful that had nothing to do with competing with Cassandra. Cassandra didn't see her often, but they exchanged occasional texts, small updates about their lives. Nothing deep, nothing heavy, just the acknowledgement that both existed in the world and were trying to do better. A year after the bone marrow donation, Cassandra published new research, different from what had been stolen, but just as groundbreaking. This time, her work was celebrated. This time, she got the recognition